If a driver appears to be lying to you about their identity and you see a wallet on the floorboard, can you grab that wallet, open it up, and identify the driver? My name is Anthony Bandiero. I'm an attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you another roadside chat. All right, this officer is in Texas. He says, Anthony, I'm a 10-year officer in Texas. I have a pretty good grasp of the law, but when I bounce off a question to you, he says, I took your advanced traffic stop and advanced search and seizure class as well. So this is a former student. That is awesome. Thank you. I'm sure this is, why we're here, right? To keep this conversation going. Last week, I stopped a car in the interstate around 11 p.m., expired registration. The vehicle caught my attention after noticing my patrol car, and he quickly exited a service road. Okay. This is definitely a kind of a form of avoidance / evasiveness, not necessarily reasonable suspicion by itself, but definitely suspicious. When people alter their travel plans because of who you are. Meyer has the best course in the country for stuff like this. The female driver and the male passenger, said they were traveling from Dallas to New Orleans and claimed to have no form of ID. They had no wallet on them and so forth. This screams suspicious, right? They are going to a different state, probably at a party. They have no ID. When you go to New Orleans, you're going to want to drink and so forth, but you're not going to have any ID with you, and both of them don't have IDs. Give me a break. So we have that. Okay, so very odd, right? I would say that's reasonable suspicion right then and there that they both don't have IDs, but I digress. Multiple signs of nervousness, deceptive behaviors. I walked to the front of the vehicle and in the registration tag, right? Because they have to have those registration tags, stickers in Texas, and it was fraudulent. Okay. So I collect their name and DOBs, and I believe that they were false through the story and behaviors. I asked the driver to step out. She steps out, and what's on the floorboard is a wallet. The officer asked for consent to search. She denies consent, and he says, well, what is that right there? She's like, what are you talking about, right? And she basically said, hold on. She denied that there was even a wallet on the ground, and she said she didn't know about the wallet. Okay. So the officer picked up the wallet, opened it up, found that it's actually the passenger's ID from prison. Come to find out that they both have felony warrants, and now we're going to jail. Are we good? Yes, I think we're going to be good, but let's walk through it, okay? The first thing is that we generally do not search vehicles for identification. There have been a few cases on this. Some courts used to uphold this. They used to call them credentials searches, right? California used to allow it. And New Jersey used to allow it. I don't think any other state would really allow cops to, search for identification when they didn't provide it. Some of these cases were not even with PC that they were lying to you. It was just like, hey, I don't have my ID on you, on me, right? And the cops would search the car for their ID and, find drugs, guns, severed head. And the courts in California and New Jersey used to uphold it under a credential search, but even when they were doing that, I got to tell you, it was like, don't get used to it because it's a little, that's where you need probable cause to search vehicles, right? Or you need reasonable suspicion for armed and dangerous. And all we had here was them saying what no other reason to believe they're lying to, that they forgot their wallet. I mean, people leave their house all the time, generally speaking. There are a lot of people out there that leave their house to go grab a coffee in the morning or to drop their kid off at school. They leave their purse at home or whatever, and they don't have their ID on them. It happens. But they're not lying about who they are. You can find them in a system. The car matches, the RO matches the name they gave you and so forth. So where is the government interest in actually searching this person's vehicle just for this ID? And California and New Jersey both California and New Jersey realized that their legal reasoning was very tenuous, and they decided to both overturn these prior rulings. So right now, no state that I'm aware of allows a credential search as a matter of routine. Okay, that's the first thing. The next thing, though, is do you have, based on this totality of circumstances, does the officer have probable cause that this driver is lying to the officer? Absolutely. This whole thing screams fraud, right? The whole thing screams that these people are up to criminal activity, including, lying and deceiving the officer about who they are. The fraudulent tag, the nervousness, the driving pattern of being, evasive and changing driving pattern. They going to New Orleans with no ID. None of them have any ID. It just makes no sense. And their information may not be coming back. I'm not sure the officer actually ran these people, but regardless, he probably had a reason that the information that he was being given was also fake. And so at this point, do we have probable cause that wallet has evidence of that crime, right? The lying to the police. The answer is yes. Also, is there an argument that the wallet was abandoned? I would make that argument if I was the prosecutor. Sure, she says, "What are you talking about? I don't know what wallet you're talking about. It doesn't." She's like, the cop says, "Who's this wallet belong to?" I don't know. She never said the passenger. So is there a presumption that the wallet was actually abandoned? The answer is yes. You can definitely make that argument. It's probably going to work. And so we have PC, check. Abandonment, probably. And we also have a search incident to arrest. Because at the end of the day, she does not have a license. She does not have a license on her. She's committing a violation in Texas. Could we have arrested her and search for evidence of that offense under Gantt? The answer is yes. So I think that we win on all three counts, and that's why I'm very confident in the legal position here. The officer said, should I slow it down? Sure, if you weren't as confident, right? I mean, I can't, Monday morning quarterback everything and say that this was a good call and so forth. You're going to have to justify your behavior on the front end, not on the back end. But the point is, at the end of the day, I think the answer is yes. I also want to share with you a case from Texas called Overshown versus State. It's a Texas appeals case, 2010, where a defendant was the passenger. And he was, in a traffic stop. He wasn't, doing anything wrong per se himself, right? But he lied about his identification. So we know that in Texas or any state, you have no obligation to identify yourself if all you are is a passenger wearing your seatbelt, doing nothing wrong. But in many states, including Texas, if you open up that mouth and start spewing lies about who you are actually obstructing under the criminal code, penal code 38.02. And this, again, Overshown says that this could apply to also passengers because, they are lying about their identity. Even though they don't have an obligation to identify in the first place, opening that mouth and trying to, obstruct an officer in Texas is going to be a crime in and of itself. So at the end of the day, we are good. If you have any questions about this or anything else we teach, reach out to us at bluetogold.com. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, you share with your friends. It does really help us a lot. This little channel, we are a very niche channel, and we appreciate anybody that comes to the channel and tries to learn. Until next time, my friends, stay safe and make good case law.